Hello, everybody. My name is Clayton Costanza. I've been running a home inspection business for over 5 years now, and I'm really proud of my template that I put together with Spectora. I communicate a lot on the Spectora Facebook page, and I try to contribute and help as much as I can. And a lot of people, once I give my input, a lot of people want to actually see what I'm explaining, an example. And I just wanted to show my report and then show my template and then allow you to actually purchase the template if you want to choose. So hopefully you can get some tips and tricks, some advice. But here's my report. Off top, I just say thank you for using my business, and I'll let them know that they can contact me at any time. If you buy this template, you can replace it with all your information very easily. This is a nice little feature that I feel like Spectora should have stock in their report, and it's actually how to read the report. So it's not taking up a lot of page. I put it underneath the informations tab, and it basically just tells you remember to click the overview information and limitations tab. I got it highlighted and broken down per smart device. And then a lot of people are just worried about the major stuff. So I show them exactly how they can get to it. And here's some just information on the property itself that you can input. Put the year built to the property, and then I explain how I came up with the year built, whether it's from the listing agent's websites or based on the major appliances. And then I always cover myself with recommend confirming with the seller. This report I feel like is very easy, straightforward, and it does cover yourself. And I'll explain further in just a minute. Here we are under the ground section, common stuff. Some people are worried about cracking in the driveway, so I put it in the report. Some people may find that concerning or not. I'm not going to go through all of it, but there was one area where there was some pretty good cracking. And so it went from typical cracks to significant cracks. In my report, sometimes I'll have some pictures to kind of further explain what is recommended as far as ground clearance. It's just some typical stuff. I wanted to bring this part up here, this woodwork deterioration. Under my exterior section, and you'll see it in the template, I have a section just called woodwork. And if I ever see any woodwork that's damaged, I'm going to explain what's going on, and then I'm going to recommend repair or replacement as needed, because I feel like this woodwork can be in a bunch of different sections, whether it's the crawl space, multiple components in the crawl space, or an exterior door. So you'll see in my template that I have a section called woodwork damage or deterioration, and recommend that it's replaced. So I'll just take a bunch of pictures of some woodwork that is deteriorating and damaged, and then I'll move it to whatever section I need to. In this case, it was the storm shutters. Here we are at the windows. I explained the double pane insulated glass that's fogginess. I got a couple of pictures here just to let them know that there's multiple ones. Now, a lot of my report have two different sentences here for damaged shingles. One sentence is going to say the roofing materials were damaged in this area. Obviously, you still need further evaluation by a roofer to make replacements or adjustments as needed. But I also have another one that says the roofing materials were damaged in multiple locations. So I make sure my reports inform the client that it's in multiple locations. I really hate the comment, the roof was damaged in one or more areas, because there's a huge difference between one small section and 15 damaged sections. So if there is multiple areas, I'll take multiple pictures and put it in the report. Like I said, I'm not going to go over everything. If y'all do the zip level, it's going to be under the informations tab. I take pictures of every shot, and then I'll let them know there was no significant movement in the overview section, and realtors love that. If you see a crack on the wall or in the foundation, you can let them know that there's no significant movement in the foundation, so it's still performing. Let me go back to roof real quick, because I give a lot of information to the client. Where I inspected it, what type of roof, this asphalt architectural shingles. I put in the approximate age on there. I don't tell them that this is a guarantee or it'll last this much longer. I'll put that the average life expectancy for asphalt architectural shingles is 30 years. And here's a bunch of factors that come into play, whether it lasts that 30 years or not. All right, air conditioning and heating. I see a lot of reports where they have this combined in multiple sections. This particular house had two of each, but I see a lot of reports where they combine everything HVAC, and I feel like that's a lot to cover for just one individual section. So I got it broken down, cooling and heating. And let me start with the information, because once again, you get a lot of information. I always take an overview of the unit, the data tag, because somebody's always going to call you. How much tons is the air conditioning unit? Trying to sound all smart. I don't want to say you don't know what to do with that information. Don't worry about it. I'll say I'll look it up for you. So the data tag always comes in handy. Then I'll tell them the name, brand, the year, once again, the average lifespan, what type of refrigerant they're using. And now here's the evaporator coil overview and the data tag for it. Got a lot of stuff going on here. I'll let them know the air filter size. All this is in the information, so this is just something they can click if they want to know more information. I got my temperature readings and the information. I'll let them know in the overview whether it's properly cooling or not. All right, so here's the overview. Here's the defects, if you will. In my report, if it's at or past the average lifespan, I'm putting in a major concern, and either I recommend that they either budget for a replacement or have it serviced by a proper contractor. Because there's been plenty of times where people called me after the fact, says, I know it's a year later, but my air conditioning ain't working. Well, I told you it was past the average lifespan. It might have been performing that day and I got temperature readings, but you need to keep in mind that it's past the average lifespan. The fact that they don't make R22 refrigerant anymore is a major concern, because it's going to be tough to service or expensive. So that's a major concern. And I usually put why it's a major concern. Like for the lifespan, it's a major concern due to the cost of the replacement in the future. Here we are at the heating section. Once again, I'll take an overview of the system and the data tag, and showing that I got a temperature reading. Now, a lot of people are going to probably give me a hard time about using a laser thermometer, and that's not proper. Well, I'm not an HVAC contractor, so I'm going to do it this way. I'm not putting holes in the ductwork and stuff to put a meter. And I also put in my limitations, like I use the laser thermometer. If you have a concern about that, recommend further evaluated by an HVAC contractor. I'm not putting holes in the ductwork or plenum, stuff like that. Uh, I feel like a laser thermometer is plenty. All right, so I'm gonna go get past the second HVAC system. I just wanted you to bathrooms, nothing special here. I'll throw in the report if the jetted tub is working, a video. If you notice, all my defects or narratives or whatever you want to call it comes with a picture. I've seen a bunch of reports where people put a comment in there, there's no picture. I feel like that's lazy. If there's really a concern, why didn't you just take a picture of it? And my reports are loved by clients and realtors because it's such a visual experience. Here's the sewer scoping comments. Uh, you know, this is where I put the camera in. It showed proper sloping, no clogging or damage. This one actually must have went well. That's actually very rare for no clogging or damage. Here's the video. The video is longer, so you can't just put it into Spectora's report. You got to use like a third party, whether it's YouTube or Google Drive, and then you just add the link there. All this is already in the report. All you got to do is add the link to the video. Water heater. All right, here's the electrical section. I take an overview of the electrical system, whether it's the meter, the main panel, or weatherhead, you know, whatever it is, it'll be in the report. I just take a picture of the overview of it and tell them it's underground, how many volts and amps, a picture of the main disconnect. Also, speaking of main disconnects and utility shutoffs, they're all in the section of electrical or plumbing. So if we go back to plumbing and we hit information, I do have a picture of the water shutoff and a secondary water shutoff. And I don't know how common this is elsewhere, but in southern Louisiana, we put a secondary at the house. That's a little more easy accessible. I'll take a picture of where I saw the plumbing. So if I say it's copper, I saw it at the water heater. And I do have a comment here that other materials may be concealed by walls and insulation. This report really covers yourself. I'm not really focusing on the limitation sections and all that, but it's got everything to cover you for sure. And you got to these days. So this is the information section for the electrical. I take a picture of the main panel with the cover on and off. Once again, these pictures come in handy later on if somebody has a question. I take a picture of the outlets that I've tested to show that they are properly wired according to my tester. and I put in the report a lot of times of the equipment and tools that I use. I tell people what GFCI is and what AFCI is. So, once again, my report covers a lot of information. I almost never have a client or agent call me and say, I don't understand what's going on, because it's all in the report. Um, and these inspections take me about 2.5 hours on average. So it's not too terribly long, but some inspectors may seem like that's a long time. And I feel like if you're not doing at least 2 hours on site, you're not really being thorough. The ground rod section, I didn't see a ground rod, so I'm letting you know that I couldn't determine if it was properly grounded. I couldn't see a ground rod. You can see where I scraped around a little bit, but that's about the extent of that. I always put in the report if a house has AFC or not, and let them know that it came in the code at this time. So if the house is older, this is the reason why it doesn't have it, and you still want to consider possibly upgrading. Consult with an electrician. Uh, I let them. I must didn't see smoke detection or carbon monoxide detection in all the proper locations, so I recommend it's added. Okay, at the end, I do a little more limitations, whether it's personal property or not. Um, I'm just letting them know that this was all in the way. It's restricting my visibility, my accessibility, and they need to really focus on these areas during the final walkthrough prior to closing. If the house is freshly painted, I bring that up too because that can conceal active or previous moisture stains, moisture intrusion. And I'll put in the report. I'm not. This is simply an observation. I'm not implying that the seller's trying to hide anything. I'm trying to just inform the client. They need to be. They need to just keep an eye on this stuff. I don't evaluate low voltage items, whether it's cameras, alarm systems, lawn irrigation systems. I put it in the report and say I don't evaluate it because they're always going to ask, how did my sprinkler system work? Well, it's in my agreement that I don't do it, and it's in my report that I don't do it. And this is a nice one that I added about a year or two ago, a final checklist. Always let the seller know or the real estate agent that may not have stayed the whole time that I turned it all off. I put the thermostat back to the original setting. Um, it's a checklist, so I know that the house was properly secured. So that's my report. Okay, this is the template that's up for grabs that I've put together for about 5 years in inspecting now. Okay, first off, I got a lot of stuff broken down that a lot of people would have combined, like foundation and structure. A lot of people would have combined that. A lot of people combine exterior with the windows and sometimes the roof. I break it all down because I feel like if there's an issue, I want to go straight for it as much as possible. Okay, so say I go up to a window and it's cracked. So I'm gonna go to windows and then general. Mainly this covers the outside of the window. But say it's cracked. So I'm gonna click in my app, obviously, um, that I found a cracked window. Well, it's either one window or it's going to be multiple windows. So when I'm fine tuning my report, I'm going to erase one of these sections. And then instantly it's a more personal observation, and it lets people know that it's either one window or multiple windows. I don't want to just say one or more, because once again, there's a huge difference between windows cracked and 17 windows are cracked. I'll take a picture of every window that I come across that's cracked. Um, I might stop after 4 or 5, but you get the point. Back to windows, if I'm testing the functionality, and I'll say I couldn't test all the windows because of personal property or furniture. Once again, go back to this limitation section and you'll see that there was stuff in my way. And I do mention some because you should be able to get to at least uh, a couple of windows. Okay, so when I inspect the roof, you'll get how I inspected the roof, the type of roof, the pitch, if I didn't walk it because of the slope, or I couldn't see the entire roof because of the slope, or it was too high, or the roof was in such poor condition I didn't want to walk on it to cause more damage. It's all covered here. Under this general tab, if there's debris on the roof, or there's satellite dishes on the roof, recommend that they maintain the satellite dishes, all the hardware where it's connected to the roof. If there's trees in contact or they're near the roof, it's all there. And then the actual coverings, you got a bunch of different material types, asphalt shingles, architectural, or the 3-tab, rolled asphalt, metal, or maybe even multiple types. I put the approximate age. Now, if I know the house is 5 or 6 years old, there's a good chance that the roof is original. I'll try to ask questions with the seller or realtor. I can just go ahead and put the year it was installed and then delete this approximate age. And then I'll just throw in the average lifespan for these types of materials. But I got a lot of comments that I feel like are very important, like lifespan. I really like this comment about the lifespan. You need to budget for a replacement in the near future. You may want to consult with your insurance provider prior to closing, because insurance companies, or at least where I'm from, they really don't. They're really hesitant on covering older roofs, and that might run into a problem. So this report here is completely put together and written up by me. And also want to show you this. So under roof and coverings, you'll see newer or minimum wear positive attributes. If the roof looks brand new, letting them know they're getting a new roof. It'll last, X amount of years if they maintain it. This is good news. The realtor loves seeing stuff like this, and if the sellers get the report, they feel warm and fuzzy, and the buyer, obviously, knowing that they're getting a new roof, they love seeing this. So I'll take a couple of pictures of the roof and say it's newer, but I also throw in here, and make sure you get that warranty information. Same thing with your major appliances, like your condenser unit here. If it's newer, I'm gonna let you know that it's newer, clean, showed minimal signs of wear. It's gonna be energy efficient and plenty of remaining life with proper maintenance. And realtors love this, and it's refreshing to see some good things in the report instead of nothing but negative things. So in the cooling section, I got the condenser unit, I got the platform or pad. If there is any issues, I hardly ever run into issues with that. The service disconnect, the refrigerant line, the evaporator coil. All this is broken down to save you time when you find a defect. Um, Instead of all this being under condenser unit and then flipping through 100 different narratives, if you will, it's all broken down to just that item, and you can reduce the amount of defects. So you're really saving a lot of time instead of and reducing clutter. Uh, it, to me, it's more productive this way. Uh, Anything related to air filter, it's got its own section. I'll give you some information about it. Was it present? Where's the location? What's the size? And then typical defects with air filters. Um, and this is another section. I'll take a picture of the air return reading. I'll take a picture of the air supply reading, and then I do the math for them and tell them what the differential is. Um, And here's narratives that go strictly with poor readings, relatively low, the thermostat not responding. Uh, just so relatively low means I got maybe a 12-degree differential in this case. I always say this, and I'll replace the numbers as needed, just so it's pre-laid out how I want it to look. Um, So that's relatively low. And then just low all in general, like a 4-degree differential. That's extremely low. And you definitely want an HVAC contractor to take a look at this. For people that do sewer scopes, it's right here. It's an additional section that you can add. I let them know that I can't look at every bit of the plumbing, and that's in the agreement, so it's covered twice. If the visibility was limited because of waste, it's all in the limitations. But this is strictly just screenshots of the video that I'll put in the report. Where the cleanout was there proper sloping? Was there excessive grease? Was there root intrusion? Cast iron, terracotta, waste buildup? And then you got the video at the end where you just replace the link here. Just add your link to the video. I got pools that can be added. All this is in the pool. So if you don't do pool inspections, you'll have a good start here. I wanted to comment this, and this will probably be the last thing. I think I'm talking a whole lot. Once again, if I use a moisture meter or my infrared camera, that can be in any section: exterior, the attic, the laundry room. Uh, it can go on. So instead of me putting it in every location like that and under every component, I have a section that's strictly called infrared camera or moisture meter. I'm letting them know that the moisture reader is elevated, not elevated. And if it's attic related, I have a separate comment for that to let them know that's probably a roof leak. Same thing with the infrared camera. The image, according to the infrared camera, there appears to have an active leak. Or it doesn't appear to have an active leak. And then at that point, I will move it to the section that is related to it. And the reason I do this also is because if I'm ever reading something and I want to reword it, I don't want to go through every section and reword it 100 times. So this is a whole lot cleaner. You'll see in the report also one bathroom. That's because I don't want to have to rewrite these narratives for a master bedroom or something like that, or a half bedroom. Just duplicate the bathrooms as needed. So hopefully this is something that could be helpful to the industry. Like I said, I put a lot of hours into this. I'm a little on the OCD side, so I've been fine tuning it to make it as easy as possible. I'll put a link in the description to a Facebook page that's got my template information and my website where you can actually purchase it. If you do purchase this template, you'll get free updates